From corporate America to starting her own branding company, we're joined now by Jasmine Johnson. Jasmine, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Was this your first attempt at entrepreneurship?
Actually, it wasn't. My first attempt was in the 5th grade. I created a magazine called Peer Pressure Magazine. I only gave away one copy. I didn't even get to sell it. But I gave away one copy to a friend, and that was my first attempt. And then my second was actually a social media agency when I was still enrolled at UF. So I started helping nonprofits figure out how to build their brands on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter during that time. And it worked out okay for a little bit. I really just didn't know what I was doing, so I wasn't invoicing people on time, things that I learned later on down the line. So this was actually my third attempt at entrepreneurship.
So after 2 failed attempts at entrepreneurship, what made this one different? What made this one successful?
So after trying it those 2 times and realizing that it takes a lot more than just talent and one big idea, a lot of people think that, oh, you just have this really bright idea, you can go make $1 million off of it tomorrow. That's not the case. It requires a lot of patience, it requires a lot of risk taking, and then it requires you to understand that you have to learn to enjoy the process. And so especially in this social media society, people think the process is overnight, but really you have to fall in love with the journey. And that's what I've been able to do, fall in love with that long-term goal and work until I get to that place. And so a lot of times as I'm working with clients, helping them build their brand online, the first thing that they ask is, how do I get to 100,000 followers? And I have to tell them that doesn't equal out to actual dollars. Like, you have to be adding value, you have to be engaging with your audience. There's specific things you have to do to actually make that equal dollars. So I always tell people, just focus on engagement. And so this time I was more focused on my customer. I was more focused on the value I was bringing and how I was engaging with my community, so that when it was products and service for me to offer, they were ready and willing to buy from me and support my business.
So when did you realize that coaching and personal branding was what you wanted to do?
So what I was discovering in my experience with working with the nonprofits and working with other small business owners is that even though I can help with their social media, even though I could help with their websites and their newsletters, if they didn't have a strategy in place that helped them understand their brand story and their mission statement, their value proposition, if they didn't understand those things, what I was doing on social media didn't help. And so I started to coach them specifically around personal brand strategy, because what I found is that we as individuals, we as people, we connect to another person, not a business or a logo. We connect to that individual. So when I help people get better and have more clarity around telling their story, it really helps them connect with their audience much better. And that converts to sales for them or donations for the nonprofits I work with.
So what would you say is the main message for your company?
The main message is tell your story, build your brand. So I really focus heavily on brand storytelling, because everybody has a story. And so our story is meant to impact multiple people. But when we keep it inside, we don't tie it to our business, we don't tie it to the products or service we sell, we're really doing ourselves a disservice and society a disservice by not sharing that story that we have inside that's going to help people.
And your brand also focuses on authenticity and self-esteem. Were there ever any times in your life where you did not have those qualities?
Yeah, when I landed my first job outside of graduating at UF, we're in this big pond of other overachievers. And so being around high achieving people all the time, you kind of feel like, okay, I got this, I know what I'm doing. And then being in corporate America, all of that went away. Because I realized I did not know what I was doing. And so that natural confidence that I had leading up to that time, from achieving well in high school, achieving well in college, kind of went away when I wasn't seeing those same results in corporate America. And so I kind of had to do some personal development work to build those skills back up, especially when they were being questioned all the time in boardrooms and meetings and presentations. I really had to do some mindset work around shifting that.
And what exactly did that look like, the personal development, the mindset? Yeah,
so for me, it was a lot of self-esteem work. It was a lot of reading books and listening to podcasts, but also working with a coach myself. What business coaches really help you do is figure out a blueprint that works for you as an individual, helping you get out of your own way, getting some of those limiting beliefs out of the way so you're not limiting yourself before you get started.
You mentioned the struggle of being in corporate America and not really being true to yourself. So how did you combat that? What did you do to save yourself or to keep yourself?
I actually picked up the camera. I started a YouTube channel and I just started documenting my journey of becoming a new mom, of trying to navigate corporate America, because I believe I cannot be the only one experiencing this, being shocked at how, you know, the corporate game played out. And so in turning on the camera, I realized that I wasn't alone, and I was able to use my authentic voice there and, you know, show up as my authentic self and motivate and engage with people, but also to see that they're experiencing the same things that I was. And that was able to give me an avenue to be able to kind of use it as therapy, just sharing my story, getting it out there and getting the feedback from other people who are experiencing the same thing. And it actually turned into another stream of revenue for me from doing that, because eventually I was able to get paid from those YouTube views.
Wow. And we've seen that you displayed your wedding on YouTube, even childbirth.
Yeah, I've given birth to both of my children on YouTube.
What was the overall reaction of that from your audience?
So my audience has gotten to grow up with me. And so that's the really, really fun part, because they've been there since I was I think I was 22 when I first picked up the camera. So from 22 now to almost 30, so almost 8 years, my audience has watched me grow up. They've evolved with me. They watched us give birth. They watched us walk down the aisle. They watched us plan a debt-free wedding and honeymoon. And so it's really been empowering my audience to see that you can be a millennial with all the student loan debt, who bought into the American dream, who failed at corporate America, who failed at a few businesses, but you can still figure it out, and that there's a part of our journey that everybody's experiencing pieces of that. And so now the fun part is they get to see me they get to watch me actually raise my baby, my newborn, home while running the business with a kindergartner and learning how to be a new wife all at the same time. So it's always an exciting thing for them to see.
And how did your family respond to being documented along with you on this journey?
Yeah. So of course the kids didn't have a choice. They were on there. At first my husband was a little leery about putting all of our business out, but we really tried to make sure we keep the private moments private, and that we don't show the kids school or anything like that. But as time went on, they got used to it, used to the camera being there at cookouts and birthday parties and just engaging with people, because they know it's for a greater good. That is helping other people see that there's other options out there and your life can play out and you can evolve with it. And so they get to see me make mistakes too. I don't just show the pretty parts. I show, you know, when we have to downsize. I show when we had to start budgeting better to be able to save for a debt-free wedding. I show now that we're making a transition and moving to another city. So they get to see all the fun and highs and lows of my life on there.